Okay, I think I'm recording now. Perfect. So good evening, guys, and welcome once more to our IT orientation or our SIWES orientation. So the reason we decided to have it separate because usually we blend it into the general classes, especially the first day we met. That was on Monday. That's when we'd have given you guys an orientation, but we decided against that because it's not just CWES students that are coming for this program. So apart from CWES students, you also have some other individuals that are not here for their IT. So in order for us not to bore them, that's the reason we're having this separate. Okay, and so the basic thing we want to do here is to explain, number one, how your stay. We've explained how your stay with us is going to be, but then this is the first time you're doing IT, which is the grace of God going to be the only time you do your IT. So we want to explain how you're going to fill your logbook. What happens when you are assigned a supervisor, because school is going to assign you guys supervisor. How are you going to approach that supervisor? Is he going to come around? Are you going to call him? Is he going to call you? All of these things. And also when you want to go and submit your logbook or your Form 8, how is it meant to be? Though I know too that school had already had an orientation with you. Okay, I know they had orientation with you some time ago. So this is just to add to the orientation they had with you and try to talk about some things that are quite specific. Okay, can you guys hear me clearly? Am I audible enough, please?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am good to go.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Okay, so let's proceed. So let's see. The first thing we have to talk about is basically you guys have your acceptance letter now. Those of you that have registered and then you've been enrolled, you've made your payments, you already have your acceptance letter. When you go to the platform, you see your acceptance letter. School wants you to submit that acceptance letter to them because it is from that acceptance letter they know where you're doing your IT, and then they know the supervisor to assign to you. Now, when they're assigning supervisor to you, they could assign supervisor from any department at all. Most times, the supervisor that was assigned to you might be somebody from the department. It works like that. So it can be anybody from any department, AEB, microbiology, physics, engineering. They can even assign people from the departments to you, anyone. But how do you know you've been assigned supervisors? This is where I guess you guys know where you're meant to submit your acceptance letter. I think Abuja campus, right? You guys know the place, right? SIWES office. You guys know where? You can drop it in the chat if you know or you don't know. Okay, yeah. So if it's in Abuja, it's in Shoba campus, you'll see SIWES office there. It's in Abuja Choba campus. Once you get to the park, okay? Yeah, exactly. SIWES office on Choba campus. Once you get to the park, it is directly opposite the park. That's where you're going to submit your acceptance letter. Now, school has resumed, so I guess they've resumed, okay? So you can basically go there. So most times what they do is they give different departments different days to come. Otherwise, you guys can. I think last year that was what they did. Different departments were given different days to come submit their acceptance letter. so on. But otherwise, you can just go. Now that I don't think you guys have heard any information about that. So you can just go to the SIWES office by Monday or by Tuesday, just to understand when you're to, if you can submit. Go with your acceptance letter. Obviously, you just print it out from the portal and go with the acceptance letter. Tell them you want to submit. If that is not the day you're meant to submit, they will tell you come so day to do your submission. Okay, that's for your acceptance letter. So once you've submitted your acceptance letter, they will give you a time, maybe 1 month from that or 2 months from that, that you would go and check that you've been assigned to a supervisor. Because once you've assigned to a supervisor, you will get his contacts. You don't have to wait for him to call you. You can call him. Most times, some supervisors, once you've been assigned to them, they'll just call you directly. Now, when they call you, there are possible things. These are possible things that will happen. Most of them will tell you to bring your logbook to their office. Others would tell you to give them direction to where you're doing your SIWES, so that they will come there, okay, and see the place. Some other persons would not even call you, and maybe you've not gotten their number, you've not even called them. They will not even call you. They'll just come to your SIWES office. Come to your place of industrial training. That's what they do. Okay, but this is why I don't know. Yeah, I don't think you guys have we've not been steady on that. But starting from Monday, once you come, because when they come to the office, one of the things they ask for is the attendance. They'll try to see the attendance. So starting from Monday, if you've not been putting down your attendance, we are going to give you the chance for the last 1 week. You guys can just put the attendance for the 3 days. And then for Monday, as you come, just make sure you sign your attendance. Now, it's possible that they will come at a time you're not having a class. That one has no issue. Okay, that's the reason we're here. Once they come on a day you're not having a class, or the time you're not having a class, we tell them, okay, this is when you're having classes. This is the time, this is the day. That's the reason you're not here. Okay, but it would be bad that they come on the day that you're supposed to have class and you're not there. Okay, because the attendance will tell them the particular time, the days you're meant to have classes. So if for any reason you know you're not going to come, if for any reason you're not going to come for any day for class, it's better you just try to reach out to any of the coordinators and say, see, I'm not coming today for so and so reason. So that in case your supervisor comes, we know what to tell them that, okay, you're not having class that day, or you took permission. We just have a way. This is something we've been doing, so we know how to take care of these kind of situations. Okay. Now, for those of you that are working in companies, it's the same thing. In fact, that one is even more strict. They will come to the company because obviously you're still submitting. Somebody is asking, what about those that are working in companies? Okay, when you say, okay, that means you're not going for training, you're actually going to a company to work. They'll still come there. And when they come there, most of your companies, in fact, companies, you should also have a login date, a login time. Once you go to office, you have to log in. Okay, this is when I came to the office. This is when I'm leaving the office. So they'll try to look at that as well. That's one other reason you always need to. Attendance is very important. Okay, very, very important. So it doesn't matter whether you're going for a training, you're working in the company, you're working in a government parasite. It doesn't matter. They will come to any of those places. Just that some supervisors, they just tend to be soft, or I don't know if I should call it lazy. They just don't want to go anywhere. They'll just call you and tell you, hey, come to the office, come with your logbook and see me and all of that. And they'll go through your logbook. Then they'll ask you questions. This is the reason you don't just come for your training or wherever you're working and then you be an errand boy, or you don't actually put your head down to understand what you're doing, because they would ask you questions. Okay? They will ask you questions. Now, when they are asking you questions, most of the supervisors, it's possible that they even know something about the field or the company you're working in. So if you try to ring-maroil your way around it, it's possible they will know. So I would say if you're lucky, they'll send it to somebody that know nothing about what you're doing. If you're unlucky, they might send it to somebody that knows everything about what you're doing. But just know that you have to be prepared when you're going there, because they can ask you any question. They can ask you any question. Just have to be confident. As long as you're taking your training seriously, or you're taking your IT seriously wherever you're at, you don't have anything to fear about. Okay. So that's for about your supervisor. Now, when you're going to see your supervisor, there is a form you're meant to go with. Let me share my screen and show you that. You guys can see my screen, right? Can you guys see my screen? Okay, perfect. So when you're going to see your supervisor, this one is from your logbook. Now in your logbook, you see this page, your page 54, very important, you have to fill it. Now, when you're filling it, there are 3 sections. The first section is where you have to fill. Okay, the first section, you have to fill the first section. The second section is not for you. Where is section B? The section B is what we have to fill. So once you're done filling the section A, we are going to be the ones to fill section B. Section C is for your supervisor to fill. So when you go to see your supervisor, he will be the one to fill section C. Now, this particular one is from your logbook. Okay, but there's still another one that is not attached to your logbook that you still have to fill it. Exactly the same thing as this. I think it is, where are you? It is this one here. This one we have here. This one is a standalone. This Form 8 is basically the same thing as the one that is in your logbook that you have to fill. But here also you fill section A, you leave section B. You can say exactly the same thing. You leave section B for this Form 8. For we to fill, you're going to bring section B. We are going to fill section B and give it to you. Then section C is something that your supervisor is now going to fill. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, when do you have to fill this part? For now, you don't really have, you can fill your section, but we're not going to tell you to give us to fill for now, okay? Because it's too early. This maybe 2 months in or so, we can tell you, okay, bring all your Form 8 for us to fill, because around that time, maybe they start assigning you to supervisor, then you have to go and see your supervisor. So this Form 8, just take notes. You fill your parts, you give us, we are going to fill our part. Then your supervisor, when you go see your supervisor is going to fill his part. But you're filling the one, this standalone, and you're also filling the one that exists in your logbook. Okay, the one that exists in your logbook, you're also filling that. So when you're doing that, please just attach your passport, because we'll stamp on the passports as well. That's for your Form 8. Then there's this other form that you also need to fill, this form here. Okay, this industrial training forms, this form. Now, for this form, this is how it works. You can decide to just come, and then this form is not like everybody that is doing their IT, let's say computer science, or let's say everybody doing IT in Smart Hub, for example. All of you, if your name can fit in here, the first person can just come. Sorry. The first person can just come, number one, and put his name and say his name. is George Smith. Second person can come put his name. But at the same time, this is if you want the form to be a collection of different persons. But some other persons will say no, they want this their form, maybe because they don't like group team, they want to be selfish. They want this form to be for them alone. So for those persons, what they will just come here is to come and say, okay, for their own form, they just put their name here and say George Boma Smith. They occupy the whole space. So you fill this form, you fill your matric number, okay, whatever your matric number is. You fill your matric number, the course of study, and your level. So here you say, okay, you're in computer science. Your level is 300 or 400. The period of attachment in months. So this is obviously 6 months. Okay. Date of commencement. When did you start? In our own case, you can say you started on the 18th of I think 05, 2026. That's the way you started. Date of completion. So here you're going to count from 18th. How many months? Okay. What would be the date to make 6 months from 18th of this month? So that's going to be possibly 18th of I think that should be 11, then 2006. Then what will be the remark? So once you fill this, the remark is not for you. The remark is for us. So once you fill, you bring it to us. We will now be the one to put our remark here. We can now say confirms or something. So that's just what we have to do here. We are also going to sign, and then we are going to stamp on it. Okay, then the same thing here, we are going to be the ones to fill this part and say, okay, maybe Mr. Edison will fill his name and the rest of that. Okay, he'll fill his name, he's also going to sign, and then he will stamp here. So please take notes, this part that I in red is where you're going to fill. You're not putting any remark, you're not filling these parts. Those parts are meant for us to be filled, to fill. So you can individual, everybody, each person can decide to say they want to fill this one themselves, or like I said, 2 or 3 persons or more persons can come and divide it, okay, and fill it. So once you fill this, where are you submitting this particular one? For this particular one, this particular industrial fund, because I don't know if you guys know that government is meant to send you guys, pay you guys some money. I don't know how much they're paying now, okay, but I think during my time, what they paid was I think that was 15 or 20,000. That was 2013. Okay, so now I don't know how much they're paying. Maybe it could be 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. No, but they are paying actually. They are paying. Most times, I remember the day they paid my section, the day they paid, Ofima was like, it's as if everybody just want to push down Ofima. Okay, because everybody was just shouting, like you just be in class, you just receive your money. Hey, hey, people are just shouting, and other persons were being sad. Hey, they didn't give us my money and the rest of that. I've not received a lot. So that's the reason you're submitting this. Most of you don't need it. You're big boys and big girls. So you might decide to say, I'm not going to submit shit. But you submitting this is because you want them to actually pay you what you're due. If not, you can decide that you don't want to pay. Okay? Yeah, it doesn't matter if yours is not like this. Wiki Light. For yours, it's still the same concept. You can send it if you can make a screenshot and send to my WhatsApp now. I can still explain to you, or later on I'll explain to you. But it's the same thing basically. Okay. You can send it to me and then I'll explain it to you. Even if you can do it now, that's fine. Wiki. Okay. Okay, so that's for this form. Now, for this form, when you fill it, maybe you guys, let's say all of you doing IT at Smart Hub, or maybe for those of you that are working in different companies, if you have 2 or 3 persons working in that company, maybe from different schools or the same school, it doesn't matter. So you can just hand over this form to one person and say, please, maybe that person will just volunteer and say, I'll go and make the submission. So you don't have to go individually to submit it. Just hand it over to one person and the person will go and submit it. I think for you guys, I think where you have to go to is they have different center. They have one at GRA, close to what was it called? Close to Salvation Ministry. I think that's the closest. They tell you go to the closest area to make your submission. So you can go to GRA and make your submission. Then most of you can go to, I think there is one at Transamadi. Okay, if where you're doing your IT is close to Transamadi, you can go to Transamadi and make the submission. So GRA is one of them. Transamadi is another one. So if you're going to GRA, just tell them you're going to SIWES office, GRA, and then they'll direct you, or I can look for the exact location and then later on I'll send it to you guys. You go to GRA, that's when you go and submit. That's where you go and submit it. And like I said, one person can just go and submit it. You don't have to go as a crowd or whatever. Just one person can go and submit this particular form that we have here. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, for this other one, there's another one here, another form. This form that exists inside of it is the same thing as the industrial form. You don't really need to fill this. If you want to, you can. Here, you rotate well. This guy is vexing. Well, all the same, you don't really need to fill this guy, but I will still advise you, since you're going to give us the book to sign, you can just fill it so that we can just go ahead and sign it at once. If not, you don't really need to. They don't really pay attention to this, but to be on the safe side, any form you see in your logbook, just fill it, and then we'll be the ones to add our remark and put our signage there. I think that's for those ones. Yes, ITF, exactly. And that's industrial training funds. Yeah, that's what they call it, ITF. I think they even have, exactly, they even have the locations here. You see the ones closest to you. This is this form, you guys have given you this form. So you have, those of you at Aba, you have different, I think you see Port Harcourt somewhere here. Someone said the back. Okay, I think, why am I not seeing Port Harcourt? Or is it my eyes? Well, when you guys look at this, okay, look at Port Harcourt. So they have Port Harcourt area office. One of them is at Transamadi. But they have another one at GRA. I can't see it here, but they're showing you the one at Transamadi here. Just so that you have one at Transamadi, you also have one at GRA. So anyone that is closest to you, you can go to that one. Okay. There is GRA there at Transamadi. I'll get you the exact one for the one of GRA. You can see, oh, they even have the 2 here. Exactly, look at the 2 here. This is this 2, number 40 and number 41. So this one is at Transamadi. Then this one is at GRA, number 6, whatever street, GRA phase 1. So I'll advise you guys to take it to this place and submit. I mean, those of you that are doing your IT around Obiapo, it will advise you to take it there. But if you're doing it close to Transamadi, you can go to Transamadi and make your submission. Just know that wherever you're going to make the submission is the same place you would go and submit your logbook. Okay? Because eventually you have to go submit your logbook for them to sign, and you have to go to the same place to submit your logbook. Just take note of that place. So you're going there basically twice. So the first time is to submit this form. The second time is to submit your logbook, and that's the time is when you're done with your IT. Okay, when you're done with your IT, that's the second time you're going to submit. You're going back to that office. So I suppose on these I have here, we're good. Let's see the next thing, which is, for most of you, that's the main thing, the cocoa. The cocoa is, how do you feel? This guy, you don't have any need for this. This is just you giving it to us. If you've given it to us, that's what you submitted for us to accept you. That's all. You don't have any use for that. Yeah, so let's go to the main guy. How do you feel your log book? So now for your logbook, my network, that's odd. I doubt my network is ever bad. Is it the same thing for everybody? Someone is saying my network is bad. Yeah, it's not clear. I know. If somebody doesn't have anyone that is clear, later I'll extract the exact one and give to you guys. Gifts, you might have to check your network. They say my network is fine. Okay, yeah. So let's proceed. Now for your logbook, when it comes to the main area to fill in your logbook always have two sections for you to fill. I mean, for every week, there are two sections, two places for you to fill. Let me turn this one around. Okay. For every week, there are two places for you to fill. Okay. What are those two places for you to fill? First, you have this section. This section. Now, in this section, how are you going to fill it? Now, they ask you to make a sketch. Must you sketch? Well, I'll show you what to do. Some persons try to always leave this place blank. However, I won't advise you to leave it blank. Okay, so I'll explain how you're going to fill it. First, at the top here, they need a date. The question is, what date are you going to have at the top? Now, at this top, you're going to put the start of the week. At this top here, you're going to put the start of the week. For example, this week, on Monday, that's the start of the week. You're going to say, okay, yeah, you have on the 18th of 05, 2026. That's the start of the week. That's what you put at the top, the start of the week. We'll come to discussion, but let's go down. Here also, you're going to put the start of the week here as well. So here also you're going to put maybe 18th of 05, 2026, which is the start of the week. Then I'll come to other places here, okay? I'll come to other places here. But now this is the first part of week 1. But when you flip over, you would now see the second part of week 1. This is now the second part of week 1. So obviously they are telling you here should be the ends of the week. So in that second part of week 1, for example, the week ended on the what was it called? That was on Saturday. Today rather. So here you're going to put 23rd of 09, 05. what's getting into me saying, oh my, 2026. That's for the date. So there's a start date, there's an end date. So for the end date, when you flip over, you're going to see the end date. Now, here you have different days. You can see they gave you from Monday down to Saturday. Most of you might say, hey, where I'm doing my IT, I'm doing it for 3 days, I'm doing it for 2 days, or I'm doing it for 1 day. For example, there are persons that, especially those of them that are in the biological sciences, that are doing their IT at, most of them at maybe UPTH, some in some hospitals. Those persons, they used to go for the IT once a week. So you're going once a week. Does that mean if you're going on Tuesday, it is only Tuesday you're going to field? No. There's a reason it is 6 months industrial training. So they're assuming that you're busy within that 6 months. You're not idle. So at least you're doing something every day. So what you're going to do in that situation is, for example, let me use SmartHub as an example. Not all of you here are in SmartHub, but I'm going to use SmartHub as an example. Those of you that are in SmartHub, you can say, okay, day one, you can say you got a general introduction. Got a general introduction to tech. Maybe that's just what you did on day one. Now, you guys didn't come on Tuesday. The next day you came was Wednesday. However, on Tuesday, what do you do? Don't leave any of these days blank, please. Try not to leave any of these days blank. So on Tuesday, you didn't come to the hub, we didn't do anything. How are you going to feel on Tuesday? This is where you now have to say, hey, possibly you can say, okay, since on day one, you got a general introduction about tech, you can say, okay, on day two, you researched on different aspects or different fields in tech. Something like that. Just put something in day two that you did. Most times, as we proceed, you see that most times it could be assignments we gave to you. You just say, okay, I did assignment on so and so topic. That will be in your day two. So now when you come to Wednesday, for example, those of you studying at SmartHub, Wednesday we introduce you to version control. So we can say, yeah, you can personalize it, or you can decide to make it to be a group. We can say we studied about version control. Okay, the same thing happens on Thursday. On Saturday, you can go ahead and say, you go ahead and fill Thursday, you fill Friday. Saturday, you can say did assignments. If you didn't come on Saturday, did assignments on version control. Something of such. Those of you working in companies, you know what you're doing in your company. Day one, maybe they introduce you to how to use so and so spreadsheets, all those kind of stuff you do. But try not to leave any day blank. Now the question now becomes, if I'm not leaving any day blank, and yeah, everything we did in day one or in the first week, we didn't do anything involving diagram. So some persons will now ask, hey, how am I going to fill this diagram here? How do I fill this diagram? Now the said diagram, okay, there are different kinds of diagrams you can come up with. For example, in week one, since we didn't give you guys any diagram, what you can easily do is to come up with what they call a schematic diagram. So I can say, hey, we studied about, person one, we say we're studying about version control. And under version control, we saw that there are two types of version control. We have what they call the centralized, and then we have the distributed version control. This is your diagram. Okay, this is your diagram. Now, take note, I'm using the logbook I'm using as an example here, or everything I'm using as an example here, is from students that are in Uniport. So if your logbook, maybe I know when it comes to logbook, most of you yours is the same thing. You just maybe yours will be very long or something. I mean, it could be A4. But if you think that your logbook is a little bit different from what I'm showing you here, don't hesitate to send it to me, and then we can explain that to you. The same thing. I think Wiki was talking about his own what's it called, ITF form being different. If it's actually different, you can send it to me, and then we are going to explain how you go about that. But it's basically the same concept, okay? But in case, you can just feel free to send it across. So I'm just trying to show you how you can draw a diagram. This is a typical diagram. It's called a schematic diagram. So you're saying under version control, you have the centralized, and then you have the distributed. Some other person might say, hey, I don't want to draw this. What do I want to draw? The person might decide to say in week 1, what he or she wants to draw. Let me use here as an example. What he or she wants to draw in week 1 is to say, hey, we have different kinds of repositories. And when it comes to repositories, that we have what they call, some persons will say, okay, we have what they call the remote repo. And then we have what they call the local repo. Another person can say, no, I don't want to draw this diagram. Okay, this is not the diagram I want. In my own case, the diagram I want, I'm just trying to do it here. Don't mind the fact that I want to do it here. Some other person might say, my own diagram I want to draw is that, though I studied about repositories, what I want to say, the two kinds of repositories I have are the private repository and then the public repository. So I've given you guys instance of 3 diagrams that you can pick for week 1 as an example. Talking about repositories as being private or public, that's in terms of privacy. Talking about repositories as being remote or local, or this other one that we said we want to talk about version control, which could be a distributed version control system or a centralized version control system. That is the diagram that you have to bring in. So you should, yeah, go ahead, Destiny. Destiny, I'm listening. You say you want to ask a question.
Can I use my audio to ask?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
Okay, so if this diagram now, we have to draw any type of diagram now, the diagram we are drawing now, is it meant for that whole week?
Yes. Way
Okay,
of
like,
is week. So you can pick any diagram and fill for the whole week. You just want
okay,
diagram.
let's say I go to work today, I did a spreadsheet, a summary now, I will just come and draw the diagram, like depending on the work I did on the Monday, and it can serve me for the whole week or any day I decide to draw the diagram.
Yeah, you can pick one particular day. Yeah.
Okay,
One particular, maybe
choice.
something you did on Monday, you can just fill it as diagram. It covers for that week.
Okay. But,
in as much as, what is it?
Okay. You continue. My question can come later.
Yeah, I wanted to say, in as much as it at least it's captured in one of these days, yeah. For example, in one case, if they see the diagram and they look at what I filled there, why is this not showing again? I've pressed Control Square. Okay, yeah, if they check what I filled there, they will see that, hey, what am I pressing? Sorry, give it a moment, eh?
Okay.
My brother, you should be ready to lay good foundation.
Somebody is singing for us. How lovely. Okay, so when they see the diagram, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Is it showing?
Yeah, everything is showing well.
Okay. So once they come here, they'll see that one of the days you talked about version control, or you talk about repository in one of the days. So it's going to tally with the diagram you drew there. So it doesn't matter if the diagram is from just one particular day. It covers for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, give me a moment. Sorry, please. Just a moment, please. Sorry, my Google Meet was kind of frozen, so I had to leave the call. But I'm back. So far, are we okay? Do we have any question? Please feel free to ask your questions.
Can I ask, I can ask any question concerning the logbook?
Yeah, you can go ahead, ask.
Can I ask any other question concerning the okay, let me stop.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Okay. I think I joined the call a bit late, so there's some parts that I did not hear. So there's some part that it confuses me a little bit. In the logbook at how can I see the end of this stuff? Like I don't know if he explained like the stuff then that started in page 51 or page 50, all those appendix stuff. What are they about?
Yeah, those ones are quite vivid. You can just feel them. It's just some
Like
things you have to feel. For example, let's start with I think I talked about most of them. For example, I talked about of all the most important one is page. This is the most important though. Page 54 and 55 is the most important. So I've told you guys all you have to fill is section A. You fill only section A. You give wherever you're doing your IT, you give it to them. They will fill section B. Then your supervisor is going to fill section C. Then I also talk about this form. Okay, so this form as
okay,
well.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't know which form I talking about, but my like this 54 and 55, is it immediately or towards the end of the IT?
You have to do it immediately. You do it when maybe they've started giving you guys supervisors. For those of you that I'm not using your logbook, you still see it in your logbook. Okay, there's a place where you have to fill a form. Okay, is it the same thing? Somebody say it's not seeing my screen. Is it the same thing for everybody?
Yes, we are not seeing your screen.
So let me stop sharing and share again. Well, I think Google Meet is angry with me. I've shared again, but it's not showing. It's as if it's just showing my face. Have I committed? Okay, let me try something. What about now?
Yeah.
Okay, just a moment. Let me try plugging this thing back again. Okay. So in order for me to see your comments, I'm using double. Okay, I think now we're good. Yeah, I think we're fine now. Yeah, so I was making reference to page your if you're not if you your own is different, maybe you're not from Uniport, it might be a different page, okay, but it's still one of those pages you have there. You see this form here is your form 8, that's what they call it. So that's one of the forms you have to fill. You fill section A, you leave section B. For your employer to fill, you leave section C for your IT supervisor to fill. Must you fill this one immediately? No. You can fill this part a month from now or 2 months from now, okay? Because the only time you need this is when you're going to see your supervisor. Sometimes some person is even at the end of their IT that their supervisor, they might get to see their supervisor. That's when they will now need this. This one and then the same thing applies to the detached part of it, which is this other one. Okay, this is this detached version of it. So this one you need it when you're going to see your IT supervisor. Otherwise, you don't need it. Okay, you don't have to fill it right away. One thing I will tell you to start filling now, so that because most times some persons they leave it, they don't feel it until when their supervisor starts calling them. That is when they want to start feeling it. And now you now start, I mean, this is your weekly stuff. They'll not spend time, maybe most times 2 weeks. You're still trying to fill your logbook. You're trying to fill everything you've learned from day one. After 4 or 5 months, that's when you're trying to fill it. To avoid that rush and that pressure, start filling it now. Okay? You mustn't fill it by the end of the class. If you want to fill it by the end of the class, perfect, because it's just one line. You don't have much to do. Because at some point, we are going to ask you to start, because you're going to submit this to us, basically. Each week, we are meant to sign. If you check here, you'll see that for every week, yeah, this is your own signature. Here, you're going to put your signature. But for every week, this other part from here is for us. You see this part, you don't touch this part. From here down to this end, you don't touch it.
That's like, is it like you must give your supervisor like every week in charge, like any day you do work, at the end of the day, or the end of the week?
Not at the end of the day, it's meant to be at the end of the week. But you can feel it. Okay, just feel it. Maybe instead of the end of the week, in our own case, we take it after every 1 month or after every 2 months. We take and then we sign what you have there. Most times, your coordinator, I think, in this situation, Mr. Edison will decide. For those of you doing your IT at Smart Hub, he will decide and then he will tell you, okay, so and so time, submit your logbook. I want to sign it. Okay. So it's not like you must submit it by the end of every week. You mustn't. Okay. But we are going to let you know when you want. We want you to submit it so that we can just sign. Maybe we can sign for 2-3 months at the same time. You take it, you go and fill the other part, you come, we sign again, and so on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So this guy, try to start filling it from now, so that you won't be in a rush. Because at some point, when people get in a rush, this is where they now even have to pay their costmates or pay somebody to go and fill this one for them, because there is a lot to fill there, and you don't want to be in that situation. Except, like I said, most of you here, you're rich kids. You don't want to stress yourself. Just look for maybe that boy in your or that girl in your department. Just take them out, buy them lunch, buy them dinner, pay for the internet subscription. Okay, so somebody is asking, what if you don't start immediately and then you start later on? So in that situation, there are a couple of things, okay? Number one is it really doesn't matter when you start, okay? In as much as before school will call you back, it's up to 6 months per se. So anytime you start, because most times what they do, well, you're not submitting your acceptance letter to them, but some persons, what they do is they'll compare when your acceptance letter came in to when you started filling your logbook. But in this situation, good thing that you're submitting them at different places. So if you start late, and then maybe your colleagues have done some things or they've learned before you join them in wherever you're joining them, you can just ask them what they've done. Okay, try to study it or try to go over it. Then tweak your logbook, see how you can fill that. Yeah, sometimes you can just give it to them and tell them, okay, they know what they've learned. Maybe you're trying to study it, they should just go ahead. So they'll see what they feel and try to just adjust it to fill your own for you. But it shouldn't be 3 months apart. I think 1 month is fine. You can try to go back in time, like somebody said. You travel back in time and then fill the logbook out. So it won't really matter if it's 1 month after, it doesn't really matter. It's just few pages. I think just 4 pages. It will be easy to just fill out. Okay, but just make sure that when you're back filling it, in that case you're back filling, make sure the date you started, the date you're back filling, try to make sure that your form 8, this form here, captures the same thing. Where is that form? This form here, because remember in this form, you're filling your start date. So now here you're going to put on the 30th of 06, and then your IT logbook, what you have there is saying that it is 18th. Okay, there's going to be that discrepancy. You don't want that. So your start date has to be consistent. So if you're having 30th there, then here you have to after. If you're having 18th, if you're filling it from 18th, this guy has to fall on the 18th. So just try to make sure it's consistent. So if it's for a company, okay, it doesn't matter. Just start the date you're starting there. Just go ahead and start filling from there. There are people that don't see IT space till after 2 months. School understands that getting IT space is not easy. Okay. The only thing is, even if you start after 2 months, you have to look for a way. That's why I said most times before you go and submit your logbook, it might be that it's way over 6 months. Because if you go to ITF and you want to submit your logbook, they'll check to make sure you filled, is it 24 weeks? you see this thing you have here, they will check that you filled for 24 weeks. If it's not up to 24 weeks, they will tell you to go back. You see this thing we have here that we have for each week. They will always make sure that it's up to 24. It depends on who is on seat. Some persons they won't care, but there is this guy that is always there. That guy is going to look at it very well. He will count and make sure it's 24 weeks. If it's not 24 weeks, he'll give it to you to go and complete it. That's just the only part you have to be wary about. So, like I said, those of you doing your, you don't need to go to Transamadi, just go to GRA. Okay, those of you doing your IT at Smart Hub, just go to GRA and submit it. Don't go to Transamadi. The closest to you is GRA, not Transamadi.
You don't submit your IT like I don't understand this, but you don't submit your IT like is it your logbook or your acceptance letter?
So the acceptance letter, you're submitting it in school, in your school. Your school has a SIWES office. Those of you in Uniport, you have it at Choba. Other schools, they have SIWES office. Your acceptance letter, you're submitting it at the SIWES office. The reason you're submitting it there is that school knows that, okay, this person has started IT. Let's assign a supervisor to him. Somebody asks, what if you're not doing your IT here in River State? What will happen? This is where, remember I told you, some of your supervisors, even if your IT place is very close to their house, is their backyard, most of them, they will not come. They would call you. So for those of you that are doing your IT far away, they would call you, except the supervisor says he has money, or most of them, he has money, he has time, he wants to travel to there. If not, it's hardly the case. They'll just call you to understand, and then they'll tell you when you come and meet them. So obviously you have to come to their office and meet them, bring your logbook. They'll go through your logbook, they'll ask some questions, okay? Because it doesn't matter if you're doing it elsewhere. Eventually you have to come and see your supervisor. Does that make sense? Okay, so I think when it comes to everything I need to explain about the logbook, what you need to submit, what you need to fill, I think I've explained basically all of them. Do you have any question for me generally? Yes, go ahead, Roland.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, do your voice. Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Actually, I didn't come early, so I didn't get everything you said. But I want to ask a question. For the IT acceptance letter, on the date that they assigned it to me was on 16th, and now it's 23rd. I haven't gone to submit it. So is there any problem?
No, there's no problem. There's no problem there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no problem.
So
what if I have some questions?
Sorry,
maybe?
just hold on. I'm hearing from Roland. It's not done. Yeah, Roland, continue.
So we started on the 18th, right?
Yes.
And we started with orientation. So what are we going to fill on that space if we say we started on the 18th? Are we going to write orientation or what?
Yeah, that's why I said I gave you an instance that, for example, what I filled here, I said we got a general introduction to tech. You can even say, okay, we got an orientation into our IT place or workplace or whatever. It's fine. That's just what you're going to fill. That's what you did. That was the beginning day. So the start of the IT. So it doesn't matter. Destiny, yeah, you can ask a question.
I was saying that, like, if let's say right now I'm not fully sure, like fully understand everything I need to do in the logbook. But if I have any question in the, like, let's say maybe a month from now, how can I be able to like discuss my issue again?
Yeah, are you on our group chat?
No, I'm not sure. Is it the SIWES Orientation stuff?
Yes.
Okay, that group with the blue icon on it.
Is it blue icon? There's an icon there. I don't know if it's blue icon.
I don't know if I'm in the group, but I need to be there because yeah, certainly I might. This all you just said now, maybe I think in a few months time, I know might not remember or a million of course in my notes as well. So my need guidance again.
Yeah, so I'll drop in case any of you is not on the group. I would drop the link now on this call. You can just follow there and join. So it doesn't matter, just so you guys know, it doesn't matter where you're doing your IT, okay? Feel free. You can reach out to us and ask questions and ask for guidance. And then in case you still want to come and do IT with us, perfect. But let me just pick the link. In a moment, I'll pick the link and drop. Edison, do you have direct access? Do you have access to the link now? Okay, don't worry. I've got the link. No, I've gotten it already. So that's the group link. You can just join the group. You see any of the admin, just ask them. And once you have questions, weeks from now, months from now, they will attend to you. And again, what we are saying here, if you're on the group, after this session, by tomorrow or Monday, we are going to drop the recording because we are recording this session, which is one other reason you should join the group. We'll drop the recording so you can save it somewhere. You go over it whenever you want, okay? 1 month, 2 months, 3 months from now, the recording will still be there. You can go over it again. That'll be easier even before you come to ask anybody question.
So I can't access the email from here.
It's on the chat. Check the chat. We just dropped the link on the chat.
Yeah, you know, but I can't access it. It's not working on my phone.
Wahala. Okay. Drop your number. Somebody will add you to the group. Edison, please help us. Just drop your number. Somebody will add you to the group. Any other question, guys? I think yeah, somebody is asking, what if you started earlier before the set dates? The school resumption. Please don't if you start earlier, that's for your own good. Okay. When it comes to when are you guys supposed to start? When is the official date that school gave to you to start? 18th. Oh, exactly the date we started. Okay. Now, if you start earlier, just don't stress yourself with those. You can just whatever you've learned, you push it forward. You don't go and feel not because if you started on the 12th or on the 10th, don't feel from that date.
You really start with VTC.
What is it?
Not in my. I've sent my number. I don't know if it has gone yet.
Yeah, I've seen your number. Don't worry. They will add you to it.
Okay, thank you.
So please, school gave you. There's a reason they gave you a date to start. So even if you started your IT before that date, just start feeling whatever you're feeling. Make sure it is from that date or after that date that school said you should start. Don't feel it before the date. Okay, it should be on that date or after that date, not before the date. Any other question? Roland, yeah.
Okay. This, if you look at the form after the first what do you call it? The industrial training form, the second form that they wrote industrial training forms. So I need a guide on how to fill it because I will
This
not.
one, yeah?
No, not this one.
Which other one?
Industrial training form.
This is industrial training forms.
that they wrote Mango Road PMV 2199 Jos. This is the third form.
Industrial training form. Another one.
Yeah, this is it.
This one.
Yeah. So
Oh no, this form is the same thing as this other form here. Where is this one? The same thing as this form here. This form. Just fill part A. Part A is straightforward. They're asking what's your name, what's your math number, course of study, year of study, name of institution. This is, for example, your institution is Uniport or your institution is USC. Okay, you put that's the name of the institution here, USC.
okay. In the aspect of course of study, is it the study we are doing for the IT
In your
or
school? No, your school.
okay.
Computer science or maths and stats. Computer science or maths and stats. That's the course of study. So it is here they said the department section. Department section. Those of you that are learning under us, department section is where you're going to say, okay, maybe you're doing AI engineering, or maybe you're doing full stack development, or you're doing DevOps engineering. That's what you're going to put as the department section. Then period of attachment is the date you started, 18th of that, so the day you think you're going to end, which is going to be a 6-month span. That's what you do there. Okay.
And the briefly outline experience of training.
This one is for you now.
Hello, can you
What do
hear
you
me?
think the training? How important is it to you? What are you gaining? That's
Hello.
I heard you. Yes, I said this one is on you. You just I'm learning. I gain this thing. Just how important is what you're doing? What have you learned? What's your experience there? That's just what you do there. Total allowance that was given to you. Those of you doing that smart, I think we are giving you guys 5 million, right? So you can just put 5 million here. But not to worry, just don't mind me, just put 0. You put 0, you're not giving anything. Except you're being paid. If you're being paid, you can put that. But yeah, you're not being paid, so just put 0.00000.
Okay. So what about the part B? They say to be completed by
What about the
employer.
part B? Part B, you give it to where you're doing your IT, submit it to them, they'll be the ones to fill it out.
Okay, that means we are submitting it to you guys, right?
Exactly. Those of you doing it at Smart Hub.
Okay, no problem.
Questions? Okay, if there are no questions, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women.
I have a question.
Okay, well done.
Based on the but it's not related to this thing we are doing here, but the assignment you guys gave us.
What happens is
So if we are done with the assignment, copying of the URL link, are we copying it from the code, or are we just going to the link on the website to copy it and send to you guys?
any of them, both of them are the same thing. You can copy it from the URL, that's the browser, the address there, or you can copy from that code. Any of them works. You're not sending it to us. I hope you know you're submitting it on your portal.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's a section on your portal that you can submit it. Just submit it there. You see URL or link there. I think just submit it there.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. No questions. We're good. Edison, do you have anything for them? Maybe a remark or something before we call it today.
Okay, good evening, everyone. You didn't appreciate George for his deliveries. Appreciate him now. He has done great. It's not easy. Okay, I think George have done justice to everything. There's no need to waste more time here. And thank everyone that have been here with us, and those that are yet to come. Please endeavor to come, join us. Because I don't think anybody or any company have taken this opportunity to enlighten you on this program on how to go about your ITs and the pros and cons and everything. But George have done justice to it, and we thank him for all of this. I think that's basically what I wanted to say today. And that's all. Please, if you haven't yet registered with us, it's still open. It's still open. The links are all open, and like George earlier said, if you're not in the group as well, do well to drop a message. I'm not in the group, and we'll add it to the group. Then those that are yet to join the IT section, please do well to join. And I think that's basically it for all of that. And do well to come on Monday for the fiscal section. So we hope to see you again. And thank you once again for your time and your dedication as well. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thanks, guys. I'll see you guys on Monday. Take care of yourselves. All right.